Welcome to my August reseller income report. At the beginning of this month, I received some major news that impacted me in a big way. I wasn't able to go sourcing as much. I struggled to get my listings done, but somehow I ended up with a decent month. At the end of the video, I will talk about what's going on, share a little bit about how I'm handling it, and I want to also share a major productivity tip that I've been using to get at least some work done. But as always, first, let's go ahead and jump into the 7 highest profit sales of the month, 7 lowest, the fast, the slow sales, and I'll break down the income report by platform and just share the final numbers and profits. First up on the list, you probably already guessed, it's a pair of boots. They sold on Poshmark, and it was these Area Madrina Dark Macchiato cowboy boots. They sold for $95 and they were only listed for 9 days. These boots were such a beauty and they were in excellent condition. I spotted them behind the counter as I was checking out all of my other items. I expected them to be way overpriced because they looked like they were new or barely worn, but to my surprise they were only $25. Well, they were $50, but I went on half off day, so I was able to score them for very cheap. I love picking up Area boots. A lot of the time they are super beat up, so I make sure to look all around, look at the sole, that there isn't that much wear. And if they're $25, even up to $30, $35, depending on the style, I will definitely pick up Area boots. Number 2, also on Poshmark, we have some Rothy's Indigo Gingham Plaid Ballerina flat shoes. They sold for $80 and these shoes were listed for 47 days. I got these pair of shoes in a, what is it called, thread up rescue box. My final average cost of goods for those shoes was $9, so that is an excellent profit there. I think I have about 2 pairs left from that thread up box. I initially listed 15, so it's already performing very well, especially compared to my Jamar boxes that I got in the past. Although I never tried Jamar's shoes, I only tried their clothing, but the clothing performed so bad that I wasn't that interested in trying their shoes. But thread up performed very well, and I think I'm going to order another box pretty soon. And then number 3 is another Poshmark sale. It was this City Chic red satin long sleeve wrap midi dress. It sold for $65 and it took 15 days to sell. I must have passed this brand up so many times at the thrift store. I just always assumed it was a cheap brand that you'd find at Ross or Burlington. It wasn't that long ago that I heard Mogi Beth mention this brand. She said how it does good for her. A little bit after that, I went to the thrift store and found 3 event dresses by City Chic. They were on new with tags and I scored them all for about $10. I believe this is the only one that has sold, but I ended up listing all of them at about $65, and I'm pretty sure the other 2 will eventually sell, although I'm kind of worried because summer is over and they are more short mini dresses, so I may have to sit on them for a little bit. But now I know that City Chic is a good plus size brand to be on the lookout for, especially in their event style dresses. Moving on to number 4, this time not on Poshmark, it was on Mercari. It was this Lug Tempo VL, which I think stands for vegan leather, but I'm not sure. I just saw a lot of people putting that in the title, and I think that's what the bag was also labeled as on the website. It was leather quilted and I called it a maxi tote purse. That's a keyword that I learned recently on Poshmark by going to their trends daily report. I'll link a video in the card above and in the description where I share how I learn about these keywords and styles that are trending. But I used that word because it was large. It sold for $54 and it sold in only 3 days. This bag initially caught my attention at the thrift store because it looked like it was brand new. There was still plastic coverings on the studs at the bottom, which that's also a sign of a good quality purse when it has studs at the bottom, The fact that it was quilted, it was super spacious, it had inner dividers, it just had a lot of neat gadgets. And I actually owned a lug purse before. I bought it at the thrift store to resell, but I decided to keep it. But I did do some research, so I already knew that Lug was a well-known bag brand. They're always super spacious, have lots of pockets, and just very convenient. So I knew it was a well-known brand. And at $5 in like new condition, I knew there was a lot of room for profit with this purse. I didn't expect it to do this well, but when I was searching for a listing price, lots of people were listing it high and they were selling high, so I decided to list mine high as well. I think I started the listing price at about, I don't remember, in the 70s maybe. And this purse actually sold twice within those 3 days. The first time it also sold on Mercari, but the lady asked to cancel because she thought it was a silver color, not a black one. So I went ahead and canceled her order. Luckily, it was only packed and not shipped. And luckily it sold the very next day. So that just leads me to believe that Lug is a bag brand that people are actively searching for. Number 5, back on Poshmark, we have some Air Jordan 1 mid cool gray lace-up sneakers. They sold for $54 and they sold in 1 day, so a pretty fast sell. I have the least experience with sneakers when it comes to shoes, so when I saw these I was debating whether I should or shouldn't pick them up, but after doing some comps on eBay and Poshmark, I figured it was worth the gamble. I only paid $10 for them. I cleaned them up real nice. I listed them for about $75, but when someone sent me this $54 offer, I went ahead and took it real quick. Number 6, on Poshmark, we have some 42nd Street black leather pointed toe western mid-calf cowgirl boots. They sold for $50 and these took 62 days to sell. These boots were actually starting to make me nervous because they'd been listed for about 2 months, but I think that was to be expected because I picked up these boots knowing that the brand was obscure, that it wasn't that well known. But I normally pay like $25 for Western boots. These were only $13, plus they were super unique with the embroidery along the shaft, and they just had a lot of unique things going for it. That's why I decided to go ahead and pick them up. It would be better if they would have sold a little sooner, but 62 days is still not bad. And if I saw this brand again at the thrift store at that price, like 13 or below, I would definitely pick them up again. Poshmark really stepped up their game this month. None of my high profit sales happened on eBay. Most of them were on Poshmark, and that goes for number 7 too. It is this Free People floral print pink black sleeveless boho maxi dress. This dress sold for $52 and it sold the same day that I listed it. More times than not, I end up doing pretty bad with Free People items, but you can never go wrong with a long floral maxi dress, especially in a size extra large. So that's why I went ahead and picked this up. I have my average cost of goods for this dress marked at $5.50. I don't remember the actual price, but I'd say it was about that, $4 to $5. So that was an excellent profit there for this Free People dress. All right, let's move on to 7 low profit sales of the month. The first one was on eBay. It was this Adidas striped windbreaker oversized logo jacket. It sold for $12.37. That was an offer I received, and it also sold via promoted listings. After all of the fees with the promoted listing, shipping, and the fee of actually listing on eBay, I lost money on this jacket, $3.59, and it was listed for 232 days. I relisted this jacket and changed it from women to men, just trying to market it in different ways to get it sold and get it moving. This was actually from a Jamar wholesale box. My average cost of goods was like $9 to $10 for each of those pieces. It also had a little bit of wear, so that's why it was so hard to move it. I bought that Jamar box back in like November, December of last year, and I'm still trying to get a lot of those pieces to sell, and a lot of them I just went ahead and unlisted them because it didn't look like they were getting attention. They were never going to sell. So when that happens, I just go ahead and take it out of my closet. Number 2 is a Poshmark sale, and it was this Banana Republic 100% linen straight preppy pencil skirt. It sold for $12 and it was listed for 30 days. I paid $2.50 for this skirt, so it is not a record-breaking profit by any means, but it's also not terrible, and it didn't take that long to sell. I received this offer and I went ahead and accepted it for a few reasons. Number 1, summer is ending, so if I get reasonable offers on any skirts, dresses, sandals, I will take it because I don't want to hold on to things and I just want to make space in my inventory to put in new things. Jackets, boots, all those things take up a lot more space, so I need room for that. And who knows if by the time we get to the next summer or hot weather, if those things will still be in style. So that's the reason why I accepted, or one of the reasons I accepted this offer. But also it came in towards the end of August and I was just trying to get as many sales in there as possible. This was also my first sale of that day, and most of the time I like to accept reasonable offers first thing in the morning if I get one. I just feel like that kickstarts things and that attracts more sales. And the exact same thing goes for this next sale. It was a Talbot's Linen Blend Floral Tropical A-line skirt that sold on Poshmark as well. This one sold for $18 and this one was listed for a lot longer, 138 days. I also paid $2.50 for this one, and the way I see it, I could either take the offer and make a little bit of profit now or risk it sitting till next summer and end up selling for about the same price or maybe even lower. Number 4 is on Poshmark as well, and it is this Beast Fashion open back brown chunky block ankle booties. They sold for $15 and they were listed for 125 days. This right here is another offer that I went ahead and accepted because I'd had them for a while and they weren't getting that much attention. A lot of the stuff that I pick up, I would say like 90% of the things I pick up is just based on either past experience or just style, based on the style of the shoe or the clothing item that I'm picking up. I do some comps, but not as much as I probably should. Sometimes that ends up working out for me, and sometimes it's a fail. Like this one right here, listed for way too long, sold for way too little, and it's just a lesson learned. Now I know in the future that I should avoid Beast Fashion shoes because they don't sell. Number 5 is a Tabitha orange textured flutter sleeve summer dress. It sold on Poshmark for $15 and it was listed for 26 days. This was again me just trying to get rid of summer items, but also I regretted picking up this dress. Once I brought it home and looked over it a little bit more, I realized that it was probably an outdated style. So when I received this offer, I went ahead and accepted it. Then number 6 is also on Poshmark. It's this pink Victoria's Secret New Orleans Saint shirt. It sold for $18 in just 9 days. And this one, I basically just got it for the quick flip. Pink Victoria's Secret stuff doesn't really do that well for me, but when it comes to NFL apparel partnered with pink, it usually flips really fast. So as long as I can find these things for $2 to $4, I will pick them up because although the profit isn't huge, I know that it's going to flip pretty quickly. And then the last low profit sale we'll talk about today happened on Poshmark as well, and it is this chain link dainty necklace, diamond studded Virgin Mary charm and stud earring set. It sold for $18 and after fees and a shipping discount, my earnings was $12.68. This was listed for 85 days. I paid $4 for all of the jewelry pieces that I have listed on my shops, and so the final profit was $8.68. And believe it or not, that's actually pretty good for these jewelry pieces. If I could get that profit for all of them, I'd be so happy, and maybe I'd even make this a bigger part of my reselling business, which I'm sure there's a way to make it work and make that profit or even more. I'm sure there's strategies and suppliers that I could find to make it work. I just don't want to get into all that right now and do all that research and all that learning, although pretty soon I may have to go down that route. So So those were some of the lows of the month. Now let's get back to some of the highs. We're going to talk about 7 sales that sold pretty fast. Number 1 on our list was on Mercari. It was this satin, I don't even know how to say this keyword, coquette, black sheer lace-up corset lingerie top, and it sold for $17 and it sold the same day that I listed it. One day that I went sourcing, I found a bunch of intimate and sleepwear apparel at one thrift store, and then I went to another thrift store and it was the same thing. They had a bunch of robes, like long dresses, they had corsets, all sorts of things in all sorts of brands, vintage, gold label, Victoria's Secret, Oscar de la Renta, and so many other brands that were new to me. I tried to be careful and only pick the ones that had a lot of things going for it. So a lot of lace, the boning, garters, I think they're called. And I tried to stick to the longer dresses as well. I did get a few mini dresses, but mostly I try to stick to the longer length ones. And most of it has been doing pretty well. Robes are the only things that are sitting and not really getting that much attention. But a lot of tops that look like this with the corset stuff and a lot of the maxi dresses sold really fast. Number 2 was an eBay sale, and it was this James Purse silk blend cuff half sleeve button down shirt. This sold for $27.20. The buyer used a 15% off coupon that I either sent to her or that I have advertised in my shop, and this sold the same day that I listed it. This brand is very unassuming. I think you would never guess that it's a brand that can sell for high amounts, and this kind of top is what they are known for. This collared with the button down and great fabrics. I feel like that's really what they're known for. And the great thing about this brand is that it's hardly ever priced up at the thrift store, since it's so minimal and it just doesn't look like much. Usually I can get them for anywhere from $3 to $5. Then the third sale, also on eBay, was this Lucy Power Max bootcut athletic leggings. This is an offer that I sent out for $18.50 and someone accepted it, and it sold the same day that not the same day. It sold in one day, so the next day that I listed it. I had stopped picking up this brand at one point because I wanted to focus on things that had a high average sale price for like $25 or more. But now I've changed my business model a little bit. I'm focusing on just bread and butter things that are going to flip fast, and as long as they leave me a $10 profit, more it would be better, of course, but at least $10. That's what I'm focusing on right now. That's how I'm working my business. It may change later down the road, but for now, that's what I'm doing, and that's what's working. I picked these pants up for $3 at the thrift store, and what I liked about them was that they were high-waisted. The waist panel was super wide. They were stretchy and comfy. I just had a feeling that they would be a fast flip. I didn't have that many high profit sales on eBay, but I had a lot of fast flipping sales because the next one also was on eBay, and it's 2 for 1 because it was a bundle. The first item in the bundle is this private luxury satin pink floral lace midi slip dress. The second one was basically the same thing. It was just a different brand. Valerie Stevens satin gold floral lace midi slip dress. The bundle sold for $40, and both dresses sold one day after listing them. So this was from that big lot of intimate and sleepwear things that I found. For these smaller pieces, like the small dainty tops and the corsets, I paid about $3. For robe sets and long maxi and midi dresses, I must have paid like $5. And out of all of those things, what sold the fastest for the most and did the best are the long dresses. So if you ever see intimate wear, especially the satin fabric in long maxi dresses, go ahead and look them up, and if they have ruffles and sheer panels or anything extra, all the better. Number 5, again, another slip dress on Mercari. It was this Flora Nicru satin white floral lace slip dress. It sold for $27, and it also sold the next day after I listed it. This is one of the dresses that sold for a little more. The other one sold for like $20. This one sold for $27, but I also think this was one of the most beautiful dresses in those lots. It had ruffles. The pink was like a baby pink with the satin fabric. I initially received a very low offer on Poshmark. I don't even remember what it was for, but I was trying to get her to go to at least $20. She declined that, but in the end, it was better for me because it sold the next day on Mercari for a little more. Moving on from the sleepwear, we have a sale on Poshmark, and it was these Tom's Leilani black nubuck leather pull-on ankle booties. They sold for $35, and they sold in one day as well. This sale actually surprised me. I did not expect these boots to sell for that amount. Usually I can get $20 to $25 for Tom's boots, but when I went to list them and I saw the comps, I realized people were listing them for high amounts, and so I decided to list them for $42. Someone sent me this very reasonable $35 offer. I accepted it, and I only paid $7 for these boots. And then the last fast sale was on eBay, and it was this Knox embroidered bohemian rusty red ruffle sleeve boxy blouse. So I have here that this sold for $18.50. Most of the time when I send out offers, I add 50 at the end, so like $17.50, $20.50. So this must have been an offer that I sent out and someone accepted. It sold in one day. Knox Rose continues to be a trusted brand for me to pick up. Kind of like the pink NFL apparel. It's not a high profit flip by any means, but they are fast flips. So if I can find them for $2 to $3 at the thrift store, I always pick them up. Especially in this style, if they have embroidery and they look super bohemian, and if they are in extra large or extra large, all the better. All right, the next category we're moving into is 7 sales that took a long time to sell. Number 1 is on Poshmark, and it was these cabby navy blue high-waisted bootcut work pants with buttons. They sold for $16, and they took a total of 311 days to sell. Cabby is a very tricky brand. On the one end, you can have some pants or a long dress that sells for $30, $40, and then on the other end, you have some pieces that perform just like this one. And mostly it's their older styles, their preppy looking pieces that sit for a very long time for me, and they end up selling for about this much, like $15. So nowadays I try to stay away from it, but on occasion I do pick it up. But with this one, I do try to do my comps. Number 2 is on Poshmark, and it was some Tom's ankle wedge black suede leather lace-up desert booties. They sold for $19, and they were listed for 197 days. During the fall and winter seasons around the thrift stores here, there are a ton of these Tom's booties. I usually pay $4 to $5 for them, but I will pay up a little more if the pattern or the color is unique. But with these, I do have to be very careful to look over the suede, because a lot of the times it can be pretty beat up, which was the case with these. I think I should have probably left them behind. They had a little more wear than I would have liked, which is why I went ahead and let them go for $19. But usually I can get at least $24 for these Tom boots. Number 3 on Mercari, we have some Born of Concept slip-on clog black leather comfort career shoes. They sold for $20, and they were listed for 143 days. I like picking up this style of shoe in Born of Concept, and Clark's. I can usually get like $24 for them. So if I can find them for $4, that's still a good profit. Someone sent me a message on Mercari for these, asked me if I would accept $20. That was still like a $12 profit. So to me, it was worth it. I said, sure, send me the offer and I'll accept. Number 4 was on Poshmark, and it was this Michael Kors brown leather suede chunky wedge ankle boots. They sold for $25, and they were listed for 142 days. This was a terrible sale. I paid $10 for these boots, so the profit really wasn't that great. I listed them back in the spring, so like in March or April, and I expected them to sell come September, October, when it starts getting into boot season. And maybe I could have gotten a lot more for them had I waited out. But my sales were so slow during this time that I got this offer, and I just thought I'll go ahead and accept it, and hopefully that attracts more sales. Usually when my sales are slow, that's one of the tactics that I use, is just accept offers as long as I'm not losing money, and if I feel comfortable with it, accept it, and hopefully that gets more sales coming in. And it usually does work. Number 5 was a Mercari sale, and it was this torrid bohemian long sleeve knee length black embroidered smock dress. It sold for $16, and this dress took 142 days to sell. I've never had a torrid dress sit for this long, especially not one in this style that was bohemian and embroidered. The problem with this one was that the cuffs were so tight around the arm, and when I realized that when I was taking pictures, I went ahead and took a picture of that, measured it, and just let them know that it was a little bit tight, and I think that just made it a harder sell. But usually torrid dresses sell a lot faster. I can usually get them for $2 to $3, and if I can flip them for $18 to $20, I'm good with that. If they're maxi dresses, usually I can get more for them though. Number 6 on Poshmark as well, we have a intro plaid flannel button down oversized collared French shirt jacket. It sold for $15, and it took 140 days to sell. Similar to the Michael Kors boots, I listed this top back in the spring knowing that it may end up selling in the fall. This kind of top is called a shacket, and it is a mix between a shirt and a jacket. So it's basically just a very thick shirt, usually in a flannel type material. This is a huge bolo style during the fall and winter. So although this top didn't perform extremely well because the brand is not that well known, I still will be on the lookout for this style of shirt this winter and fall. And number 7, we have a Poshmark sale, and it was this paw green Nora ankle black leather water resistant suede booties. They sold for $32, and they took 138 days to sell. When I bought these boots, I thought that they were going to be a super fast flip, because paw green usually is, but maybe I just aimed too high with this one. I listed these at $65, and they had to go all the way down to $32 to get them to sell. So that is a major tip that I have for you. If an item is not moving, go ahead and reevaluate your listing price and relist the item to get it moving. That's what I did with this one here. Alright, so those were the good and bad highlights of the month. Now let's talk about the total sales numbers. Total sales for the month of August was $3,662. Earnings after platform fees was $2,789. Cost of goods for everything that sold this month was $723. And the final profit after cost of goods, shipping, the platform fees, and everything else was $2,066. And again, this is the third month that sales have stayed pretty similar and pretty low compared to where I was at previously. I honestly expected it to be much worse. As I said in the beginning of the video, I was struggling health-wise, just in life overall. I had a pretty rough month, so as long as my sales continue to stay like this, I'm okay. I am going to work on getting them back up, but as long as I don't drop any further from around 600 a month, I'm okay with that. Breaking it down by platform, on Poshmark, I sold a total of $2,013. On eBay, it was $1,001. Mercari was $648. Poshmark and eBay held up pretty good this month, but Mercari struggled all month. Sales were very slow over there. I ended up with the lowest amount in a month on Mercari all year. That's the lowest I've made in a single month. And I've mentioned this previously, but I see that happening with Mercari a lot. As soon as I dip in my listings, my sales dip pretty fast over there too. But when I'm pretty consistent, daily listing, and I'm on top of things, sales get right back up. So that's the thing with Mercari. It's pretty sensitive. Now let's see the work that I put into reselling this month. I listed a total of 155 items. That is a total of about 5 average daily listings. That is decent, but my goal at the beginning of this year was to get my listings up to 200 a month. And right now, I am far from that. Items sold was 130, and that makes it an average of about 4 sales a day, which is again decent. But when I hit my first $5,000 sales month, I sold a total of 170 items. So I would really like to try to work my way back up there again. My average sales price did have a slight increase though. It was $28.39 on average. That's how much things sold for me this month. And hopefully it continues to increase as we move into the colder weather, where things with the higher average sale price will be selling, like sweaters, jackets, and boots. And my average cost of goods is about the same. I paid an average of $5.61 for everything that sold this month. Now let's talk about the life update, how it's affected me, and how I am coping. On August 2nd, I found out that I was pregnant with my 4th baby. My 3 other pregnancies were fairly easy. I worked throughout my entire pregnancies. The recovery was a breeze. I was full of energy. I was super productive. Everything went well, like if I wasn't pregnant at all. But this time around, this pregnancy is a lot different and a lot more difficult. For about 3 weeks straight, I experienced all-day sickness from morning to night. I just felt like I was car sick, like I was hungry, but nothing seemed appetizing to me. It was a horrible experience, and that's what has affected my work and me being able to go out sourcing and doing as much work as I used to. Luckily, now it's subsiding. I am 10 weeks now, and from what I've read and from what I've heard on YouTube videos, usually this passes by about the 12th week. So I'm almost there, and it's pretty mild right now. This year I had big aspirations for YouTube and my reselling business and just other projects that I wanted to get going. But as of now, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to accomplish these goals. I'm just taking it day by day and really hour by hour. And that's how I've been able to at least get some work done and to rebuild after those 3 miserable weeks. And I really do mean hour by hour. I've been using this technique called the Pomodoro method, and according to Google, the Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed in the late 1980s. It uses a kitchen timer to break work into intervals, typically 25 minutes in length, and then separate it by short breaks. So you set a timer, work for 25 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. So that's the gist of it. But obviously you don't have to use a kitchen timer. You can use your phone, or I've been using an alarm on my phone, and you can make the work and break periods as long as you want. So that's been my lifeline as of lately, because it takes this huge project, which is working 6 to 7 hours a day, and breaks it down into small, manageable chunks. When I'm feeling miserable, it's a lot easier to convince myself to sit down and work for 30 minutes as opposed to hours. And then when I feel like stopping, I just look at the timer and I see I have just 7 more minutes, and that kind of pushes me to keep on going and finish the set time. So if you're struggling with your productivity, either because you've had a hard day or you just don't have the energy, maybe because of health problems, or you're just not feeling it that day, I really recommend that you try out this method. Right now, I'm up to 45 minutes of working and then a 15-minute break. During those 15 minutes, I'll either go for a walk, read a book, or maybe I'll do the dishes, do something else other than working on my business. And then I come back fresh and rejuvenated to do another 45 minutes. But you can always start small and work your way there. Let me know down in the comments below if you do try it out and how it works out for you. And also let me know in the comments how your August was. Is your summer slowdown over? Do you see sales picking back up? Let me know in the comments below. And that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.